Hello Aquarius, this is a timeless reading for you. In the middle of your spread, we have the Five of Pentacles, and I have to say that unfortunately this time your reading looks quite uncomfortable. The Five of Pentacles is surrounded by the Eight of Swords, the Page of Swords, the Hanged Man, and the Tower. So those cards, especially all of them together, is not a very nice constellation. Maybe at the moment you feel quite terrible. I feel like this Five of Pentacles energy is regarding several situations in your life. I feel like it's not only one thing in your life that's a burden for you, or that makes you feel like you're in a state of lack. And I feel like many of you, maybe even for 5 years or something like that, you have tried to improve something or several things in your life, and I feel like you're a bit worn out at the moment. In the conscious position, we have the Hanged Man. And the bad news is that at the moment you just feel like you will be stuck there forever. The good news is the Hanged Man is also a card that speaks of a new perspective. And I feel like the new perspective, and because this reading is not utterly negative, even though, at first sight the cards don't look very friendly. In this case, I think like you might realize that this terrible phase, and for some of you even very long enduring phase, it gave you some profound wisdom spiritually. I look at the Hanged Man's facial expression, and he has this kind of pride to him and this slight arrogance. I don't mean a negative kind of arrogance. Sometimes I think we can be entitled to be a little bit arrogant about something. Don't get me wrong, just a little bit, and only sometimes. Like he's above something, beyond something, and I feel like maybe you have endured something so terrible that many others never had to experience, and you fought so hard to get out of this, and suddenly you will realize that, and it will make you very proud. Like when you watch other people getting heavily triggered, falling into despair because of things that to you they seem to be very small, very insignificant, and you just realize if they had to live through what you had to live through, they would, I don't know, kill themselves or something. I don't know, there's just this profound realization that will make you feel proud of yourself, despite constantly being in this Five of Pentacles energy. In the unconscious position, we have the Eight of Swords, and many say that the Eight of Swords is this kind of self-imprisonment, like it's your own fault that you are stuck because you are self-sabotaging. But I don't always see the card this way, because I'm not sure if she really put herself into this position. Sometimes we are truly just a victim of a circumstance or of another person. But I'm getting something from this card, and that's why I feel it is also very unconscious, or in the unconscious position here in your spread. But you might very soon, with this Hangman and enlightenment about this, become aware of it. Like, okay, her eyes are blindfolded, she is tied. She's surrounded by these swords, but somehow she's looking above, and she's looking, she can't be distracted with these eyes, blindfolded. She can't look around, focus on external things. She is forced to find something within herself, because that's all where she can look. She can't look outside of herself. So this kind of torture somehow. For some of you, it just means that this might be God's way of forcing you through spiritual growth and towards something divine. It is not always the best thing that everything in life is just going straight and nothing ever happens, and I feel like sometimes we have to experience these terrible things so that we can find our strength and find this truth and find this true spirituality. But don't get me wrong. If this is another person that did that to you, that doesn't mean that this other person is such a God-sent person that helped you to realize something. I know some people twist it like that. It's more like God is using terrible people to teach us something, but they are still terrible and they are still people that have to be avoided after a certain time. And I feel like this is something that you will realize. And I feel like the Page of Swords, this is the first time you might feel some kind of strength to fight back, but it's still on a page level. You know, we have other establishments or levels of this sword energy, cutting, fighting. And this is the basis, the basic level. But you are reaching that, at least. Like, I feel like maybe this realization in this time might be, you know, finding that inner strength to fight back, finding that inner voice that tells you you have a right to fight back, because often when we are in a position where we're powerless and we're the victim of something or someone, we feel like it is our own fault, and a lot of weird spiritual teachings also tell us that we deserve that. But it's not true, and I feel like we often have to then realize the real truth and realize that we have a right to defend ourselves. And usually it's very kind people and gentle people who become victim of someone or something. And this could just be God trying to teach you that you have to establish boundaries and that you have to also be willing to see the dark in other people. You know, some people, they only want to see the good in others, but, you know, this is not the world that we're living in. And it's not just the world, it's also on several spiritual levels. There's a lot of darkness, there's a lot of intentional harm. And I feel like, you know, this is something that you might have to realize, or that you have already realized. But, you know, realizing something and then taking action on it, those are two different things. And sometimes we are just still so scared to fight back. But you are coming into this Page of Swords energy. And at the outcome of realization, we have the Tower. And I feel like this is a big jump, like there's something being left out here in the spread. I feel like the Tower is you and the consequence of your action and your inner decision and your outer action. So still being in that Page of Swords, how can you cause a Tower moment? I don't know, but that's what it's looked like and feels like to me. Like there is this explosive, catastrophic change. Not for you. Like also for you, but it's not negative for you. It is some kind of, you know, I feel like soon you might tap into a very, very powerful anger and rage that you might have never felt before about this situation or person that put you into this very powerless position. And I feel like this is a very important spiritual lesson for you and a very tremendous energetic shift. You know, I'm not one of those people who's saying anger is immature. I feel like anger is very natural and it's sometimes also very necessary especially if we want to survive. Animals also get angry. You know, the mother bear doesn't have to walk around, attack all kind of animals just for fun, but she gets angry and attacks when someone is trying to kill her pups. So, you know, we need that. We don't have to always turn the other cheek, and I feel like this could soon become an important topic for you. And more important than understanding all these things that I'm talking about, and I'm sure some of you have already understood that anyway, but you know, as I said already, understanding it and feeling it is a different pair of shoes. Then we have this logical understanding, but we still can't really deeply feel it. And I feel like this is coming in soon. And this anger will not be burdening for you, it will be freeing, because when we are suppressed by someone, it is much more painful. And then when we are also scared of this person, anger can be, or rage can be a feeling. I mean, you don't have to act on this rage and beat this person up, do something that could make you become imprisoned or something, you know? That's not what I'm saying. Just feeling this anger, like letting it rise from the bottom to the top of your head, letting it stream out of your body, it will somehow flush away the fear that you have regarding this person and the doubts and the guilt and shame. Often when people become victim of someone or something, they feel ashamed of themselves. Like everything is getting twisted. While the perpetrator should feel ashamed, the victim often feels ashamed. Not always, but it's often like this. And I feel like this will end. Like this rage will flush all these restrictions, these inner restrictions out. At the bottom of the deck we have the High Priestess and the Star card. And I feel like this is just the High Priestess is a confirmation of what I've been talking about. Like this is a spiritual lesson. This is about understanding something spiritually. Also maybe looking at very modern and common weird spiritual teachings, seeing through some things, and what this intention behind those teachings is to keep people small, actually. Keep people imprisoned in abusive situations, accepting abuse. There is something about that, learning about that. And the Star card, and this energy, this card gives me a very fierce vibe as well. You know, just like the Page and the Tower, there's this fierceness about it, where then it suddenly shifts into the Star energy, where suddenly everything is becoming more gentle. And I feel like she's also withdrawn. I feel like no one's around her, no one is watching her. That's why she is naked and this, you know, not being dressed, just being a metaphor here for being vulnerable, because maybe you are withdrawing and you're just... I'm also thinking of herself looking at this water, seeing her own reflection. There's something about self-care and self-reflection in a very gentle and careful way. I don't know if I should dig into it a little bit deeper. There could be something legal. It doesn't have to be official. It can also just be, you know, in some kind of social level or spiritual level, that there's some balancing. We have two scales here. It could also be that there is a financial aid coming towards you, even if it's just a small one, just a small support. And it could be some official justice coming in, or some unofficial justice, something that has nothing to do with the official law. After you went through all of this spiritual learning. We have some more swords here. action, preciseness. Something is sharp, something is fast, and very determined. Then it gets a bit, we have some masculine energies. Those three together are not necessarily nice. I mean, if this is your energy, it's nice, but if all these three powerful men together could be, representing one single person with all this power, you know. This could be a toxic spiritual leader, pretending to be very moralistic, but actually being super nasty. Not just nasty, but very abusive. The King of Wands, if he comes up in a negative way, can be very brutal, also can cause physical harm. The Emperor, just possessed with power. I'm looking at them from a negative way because I got stomach ache when I saw all these three cards together. This could be the person that put you into this kind of position. The Lovers, maybe you were married to this person and very stuck to them. Maybe this is about some kind of divorce. Doesn't have to be. But there's some negative binding to this person that feels like it can't be broken. Like this person has some kind of power over you. It could be that you depend on them financially, or I don't know, in some other way. Or that you're afraid of them, like if you leave them, they won't let you go, or it could be anything. It's just like an enforced attachment. But we have the Judgment and the Strength, and we also have the Sun card. I feel like there's really this tower is very, very necessary, and I don't feel that this is a kind of negative tower. This is more like a very necessary tower. That you have to experience this powerful feeling within yourself to flush all this suppression out of your system, all this fear. Sorry, I know it sounded all a little bit negative, and my readings are not always that negative, but you know. It's not that there is no light or anything in this reading. There seems to be some kind of solution, especially, you know, with having this understanding, going through this very profound spiritual lesson, coming into this High Priestess energy, becoming very wise. This is what it seems to be about for you. So I wish you a lot of strength, and I'm gonna leave it here. Thank you for watching.